Welcome back. Now, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, that's the FSCA, has today published the conduct standards for banks aimed at prompting fair treatment of consumers by banks. Now, the FSCA says the purpose of the banking conduct standard is to protect financial customers by promoting their fair treatment by all banking institutions. The organization says the regulation will apply to all licensed registered banks, cooperative banks, as well as local branches of foreign banks and their representative offices. Now, the regulation could also see banks fined if they are found to have unfairly treated their customers. For more on this, we are joined then by Sindiswa Makhubalo, who is the head of Banks and Payment Providers Supervision at the FSCA. Sindiswa, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. One would have thought that the formally Treat Customers Fairly, TCF, which was in place, that act would have certainly covered this, but clearly it did not. Was that the reason we needed this one to come into effect quite prodigiously?
Most definitely, Arabile. You see, the TCF only focused to part of the component of treating customers fairly. But this piece of regulation that we are launching today covers a very broad spectrum of the entire market conduct. So we look at all the activities of the bank, the entire customer value chain, and not just the component. So there was a very much need for this regulation to come into play, more especially with the deficiencies and some of the gaps that we identified in the industry where certainly customers needed our help.
So what exactly happens? I mean, what protection do customers now actually get under this new legislation?
So if I could give just one sentence background, Rabila. So over the years, I mean, here in South Africa and even across the globe, the customers' trust in banks, I mean, have been eroded due to all these deficiencies that I'll speak about. What we find today is that customers don't even trust to keep their monies in the bank. But what we are going to see with the implementation of this standard is that the customers will now have a voice. So for the first time in South Africa, because this is new and this is big for us, they will have a voice and they will be empowered to raise or challenge the conduct of banks that appear to be wrong with no fear of being victimized. So that means that, you know, the products and the services that will be marketed and sold to customers have to meet the needs of the customers. This needs to be properly disclosed to customers in very clear, in very simple language, and ensure that these are suitable for customers. But what's most important as well is that customers now will be able to keep banks accountable and will be able now to have confidence that, you know, the banks that they are dealing with actually have the fair treatment of customers at heart. So it's a big milestone even for the customers, because it is gone are the days where any kind of treatment will just be accepted. But for now, they'll be able to raise their concerns and challenge any misconduct that seems to be done to them.
How exactly will customers be able to make that contact with the FSCA with regards to something like this? If they feel like they've been treated unfairly by a bank, what would the process be? Would it be by email, phone call? Is there an app? What exactly is the process?
So I'm gonna just highlight just two key processes, first of all, because it's quite important to share with the viewers that we will not just wait for the customers for that unfair treatment to take place, but the FSCA will be very proactive in their engagement with banks, because we want to stop these things even before they happen. So when the products are designed, we are going to be very much involved with the banks in terms of approving and ensuring that the products do meet the needs of the customers. Post that, we are also going to be doing reviews to check are these being disclosed properly? Are customers being informed clearly of the products that they are sold? But apart from that, if the customer then does feel that I need to raise a complaint, I'm not happy with how this was done, we encourage the customers first to raise it with the bank. Let's give the bank the opportunity to resolve the matter and exhaust all internal avenues. If that fails, we advise the customers to approach our banking ombuds, who we are very much working in contact with, to raise that there. But if that fails, we've got a tribunal that is set up, and all the details are on our website, in terms of where the customers can go and raise it there. But apart from that, Arabile, we're going to be looking very much into the some of these complaints or some of these concerns that the customers have raised that could really impact a broader or that highlights a bigger industry impact that we'll need for the FSA to address. If I could just ask the viewers that if you go to our website, which is www.fsca.co.za, all the information on how to contact us is listed on our website.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Sindiswa. But also then, have you received sufficient support from the banks themselves, particularly in writing up this piece of regulation, as well as in promoting it and ensuring that customers are well aware of it? That are you working alone in trying to put this out, or is there perhaps a bank-led promotion of this regulation as well?
What is exciting and what I'm excited about today with the launch of this banking conduct standard is exactly the cooperation and the collaboration that has been happening behind the scenes with the banks. Because the banks also got to a point, Arabile, where they realized that for their business to be sustainable, the fair customer treatment has to happen. And I think we are all in agreement with all the banks that this is vital for the survival of their businesses. So it meant that we picked the first point that says we all agree that this is needed in the sector. The industry is very welcoming of this kind of piece of regulation to assist them. But we said further to that, let us enhance and heighten focus on this. And that will mean on their side, the aspect of customer education has to really take the forefront, because it's going to be critical and very prevalent that they educate the customers. The customers understand what is it that you can do, what is it that you cannot do, and so forth. But also for the banks themselves to invest heavily in terms of ensuring they are geared up and they are ready to really implement the standards. So there's been quite a lot of work in the industry. There has been a very robust consultation that took place before leading up to this to ensure that we're all in alignment, we are all in agreement of what needs to come. So I can certainly say that the sector has been in the forefront in terms of leading this. And I'm comfortable where I see that they've done quite much in terms of ensuring they're ahead of the game with the implementation.
Sindiswa, I have unfortunately run out of time, but is there a way for you in 10 seconds to perhaps let me know what the difference then would be between what you as the FSCA will do in this regard and what the banking ombud would do? Because that differentiation is surely important. You have two bodies which look like they'd be treating things the same way.
Certainly, Arabile. So the Ombudsman focuses very much on the complaints, and it's a piece of information that is very vital in our supervision of banks. But the FSCA then takes it broader in terms of looking from the start of the customer entering the bank process up until the sale is concluded or they've exited the bank. But further to that, we have got the mandate, if the banks are not treating the customers fairly, to levy, to impose penalties and fines if we feel that there has been misconduct that is done. It is a power that we have as the FSCA that the banking ombudsman currently do not have. So it's going to be critical that the two bodies work together, because the information that they have will certainly assist us. So there's going to be a lot of collaboration and working together between the two of us.
Sindiswa Makhubalo, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it there. She's the head of Banks and Payment Providers Supervision at the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, putting out that new regulation today, promoting fair treatment of customers at banks. So certainly very important, and publishing that conduct standards that banks are meant to adhere to from here on in.